It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, August 10th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. However you are watching, listening to the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz program, we appreciate you. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, big guy.
Good afternoon to you. I got two quick good stories, but I will let you introduce our guest co-host first.
Tom Mazaway out for the next week. We will have a rotating situation in that chair, but I could think of nobody better to put in the Maz chair today than our Woodward Sports Lions beat writer Matt Broder. Matt, how you doing, big guy?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Braylon. I'm so pumped to be here with you guys.
Absolutely. We're going to pick your brain for the next 30 minutes.
Let's go.
This guy's been in practice watching, getting it in. No, but two quick stories for everybody, and JB Parker, hi to you guys as well. First thing was, I'm getting sadder and sadder for the guys at the Pac-12. And I'm speaking from experience, and this is why I say that. I'm listening to I ain't talking about the Pac-12. No, I love to keep it on.
JB on point.
No, keep the music on. So I remember, like, Bishop Gallagher, which I graduated from, which got me to University of Michigan, they closed down 2 years after I graduated from there. So now, when everybody asks me, I always say King, which I did go to King for 3 years, but my school's no longer there. I can't tell people about the school I even made All-State banquet from. Same thing with Pac-12. Like, can you imagine being from one of those schools, like a Reggie Bush or a Lindell White, who we've had on the show, and you're like, yeah, I played in the Pac-12. What doesn't exist anymore, but my team's now in the Big Ten. Having to explain that would suck.
Yeah, I was watching that Johnny Manziel a little bit last night, and, they left the Big 12 and went to the SEC, and there's
no longer there.
So much movement. It's insane. But Tom Mazaway out for the next week. Broder is in today. By the way, I do want to say this, and I don't want to, this is not a, hey, look at me or a pat on the back, but I quit smoking 5 years ago today. 5 years ago. I was a pack-a-day smoker for 20-plus years. And I quit smoking 5 years ago. If I could quit smoking, you could quit smoking. If you're drinking, drugs, cigarettes, whatever you're having an issue with, if you put your mind to it, there is help out there, and you can absolutely get a handle on it. So I just wanted to tell you, you have the power to do whatever you want.
I agree, and I would just ask a question for the people out there. What is the biggest thing that you've noticed in the 5 years of you not smoking cigarettes? What is, like, the biggest difference that you've noticed?
My health, my overall health is so much better. Mm-hmm. I sleep better. I smell better.
I imagine.
I taste my food now.
Wife wants to kiss you now.
Yeah, right. That's better. Every aspect. And I get, knock on wood, I get sick less frequently.
Health is wealth, baby.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. So you guys got it.
Kudos,
if you want to do something for yourselves. Just a couple of news and notes today. Lions are off today. No media availability. A little bit of a walkthrough before tomorrow's preseason game number 1 at Ford Field against those hated New York Football Giants. But they did make a couple of roster moves today. And Matt, I want you to weigh in on this. So they officially signed Teddy Bridgewater. That's number 1. But they also signed running back Benny Snell, and placed running back Justin Jackson. Little bit of a surprise here on the reserve retired list. They also waived guard Logan Stenberg, a 4th-round pick in 2020.
These are some good pickups by the Detroit Lions in terms of, we talked a lot about Detroit. We talked about Teddy Bridgewater yesterday and what he's going to bring and what he's going to do. But Benny Snell is a hell of a pickup. 3 years ago, you're talking about a guy that was arguably the best running back in the SEC. I believe he had 1,800 yards because last year he was a damn good running back. I'm excited about that. And it makes sense. You look at it, you say, why is Justin Jackson retiring? Well, one, Benny Snell's a damn good running back. And if you're Justin Jackson, the individual that went to Northwestern University, one of the best schools in the country, so his intellect level and where it's at, Running back is a position that's getting disrespected right now, Broder. He's the third running back fighting for the fourth running back on the roster, and he's going to pretty much be doing this probably on every team. Why would I sit here and fight for a position that's not being valued at the perennial Pro Bowl level? You know what? I went to Northwestern. It's time to let my degree do the work for me. I'm probably heading out to Chicago ASAP.
Exactly. If you have plans after football to do something, especially with your mind, which it seems like Justin Jackson does, why take these extra hits? If you're not fully engaged in it, going through a training camp, going through a full NFL season as a running back, it's just not worth it anymore. So we don't know the reason why he retired, but it's pretty safe to say that probably factored into it.
And then when your heart's no longer, when your heart is no longer into it,
that's where I was going.
Then your mind is no longer into it. And then what happens, Ryan, and you know this, guys start getting injured because when you're not putting the best out there, when you're just going through the motions, that's when you get injured. So kudos for him for whatever reason is making him retire. Hopefully it's a good reason, not a bad reason. But at the same time, once your heart's no longer in it, once your mind's no longer in it, you start to get injured and you start to be a bad representation of who you are. You never want to put bad film or bad tape out there.
And that's exactly where I was going to go with it, Braylon. And it kind of feels like that was the case, too, for the former Georgia running back, Sony Michel.
Yeah.
5 years in the league, just says, you know what, I'm retiring. I think somebody else just recently did that. Name escapes me right now. But Logan Stenberg surprises me a little bit. He was a pretty decent depth guy, and when I picked up that little roster the other day and I said this is the greatest roster in the history, this is the greatest depth chart in the history of Detroit Lions preseason football, this is a really good example. I think Logan Stenberg will have no problem 12 hours from now, 24 hours from now, he's going to be in somebody else's camp and he's going to contribute.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's funny. Like, I looked at that clip yesterday, and I was thinking about it. I said, I disagree with Ryan at the time. I'm thinking about Barry Sanders, Lomas Brown, and the rest of the guys that are on that 91 roster. But looking at it from this perspective, if you take what these guys that are on this roster now could be in the future, and then look back at they were all in this 91 team when it all got rocking and rolling, you absolutely will be right about your comment that you made about this being the best preseason roster that the Detroit Lions probably ever had.
Yeah, he'll get a job based on his film from previous seasons, but he hasn't had a great training camp. And I think you pair that with the depth that they now have on the offensive line, and specifically at the guard position, and with Graham Glasgow being a backup center to Frank Ragnow, there's just less of a need for Sternberg. So that's why I believe he's getting the boot.
We talk so much about the offensive line, talk about how good they are. They're the dominant force on this team. They're the unit that we go to. What have you seen so far from this unit in training camp to suggest they may be better than they were last year?
Yeah, so the offensive line, they're the unit that we've actually seen the least of when they do their individual drills, whether it's with the Giants or just as a team before practice. They're kind of the other end of the practice field where there's no access to the media or even the fans to really see. But when they get out in 11-on-11 drills, or they're doing one-on-one drills with the opposing defensive line, they've looked really good.
And, we've seen that the Lions tweeted out a video or posted a video, Penei Sewell and Kayvon Thibodeau, that will show you right here of Penei Sewell just kind of owning his one-on-one drills with Kayvon Thibodeau. And look, this is a guy in Penei Sewell, so much is dependent upon what he does at right tackle, what Ragnow does at center, and what Taylor Decker does on the left side of it. Those three pieces of that offensive line, and not disrespect, Vaitai or Jonah Jackson or anybody like that, but obviously your center and your tackles are the meat and potatoes of your offensive line.
Hey, do me a favor, throw that clip up there real quick, Parker. And great job, by the way. One thing, when you're looking at this clip, you're seeing Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau arguably could have been the number one pick 2 years ago. He ends up going fifth to the New York Giants. He's going against Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell is one of the best right tackles in this game right now. He's one of the best young talents. Penei Sewell dominated him right there, and what I want you to notice in that clip, it's the footwork. Look how lazy Kayvon Thibodeau is. He knows he's going up against one of the best right tackles in the game. He tries to do the same lazy one jab step up the field. Penei Sewell's waiting on it. He knew where the guy was going to go on that move. That tells me Penei's doing his homework. Not to mention, he's dominating a guy that the Giants picked to be a guy that's going to take over for that defensive line. So Penei's on point right now, man.
And Taylor Decker's arguably been the most dominant player on the Lions roster in training camp. I don't think I've seen him lose a rep going one-on-one or even in 11-on-11 drills. So he's a monster.
You know, that's an interesting point you make too, and I love to hear that because this is the longest tenured Lion on this team. How do you think he feels coming to camp, Matt? I mean, how do you think he feels walking onto that field at Allen Park as a favorite to win the division? So much hype. You are not the laughing stock of the division anymore. You are not the laughing stock of the league anymore. And a guy like Taylor Decker, who has given everything he's had to this organization when they've been down, when they're up, he's going to give it everything, this guy.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Braylon.
I was going to say, it's crazy that you mentioned that. I just thought about something. And it's crazy that you mentioned that he's right now being the most dominant Detroit Lion through training camp. Remember, Ryan, when they were 3-13-1? Who was the guy that stood up to Dan Campbell and said, I don't care how he coaches. We need something different. Whatever he needs us to do, we'll do. Why not change? Why not do what it takes to change? Why try not something to do? And he said all that. He was letting them know, like, we haven't won using this direction. Using the past direction. We got to try the new direction. We got to listen to him, all steam ahead. He said that back in 2021, and now look where the Lions are, and now look what he's doing now that they're here. Man, that's goosebumps, baby.
When he talks after practice, you can feel the kind of reserved excitement. He's like holding back how much he maybe wants to share, how excited he is to be a part of this team that can really make a run, and being sort of the stalwart person on that offensive line, on the most on the best unit for the Lions. So.
And you mentioned him talking after practice. Listen to how he's talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. Just listen to the authority and the glow that he speaks of the Lions rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, but he's got a special burst, and seen him be a little shifty, make guys miss, and happy to have him.
Do you see the smirk there? Do you see the little smirk, the little smile? He's trying to hold it all in. It just seems like this guy is like, damn, we finally have it. You know, whether it's Gibbs or anybody else, the approach at that podium that I see when Taylor Decker approaches that is, man, it's a little bit of an exhale. This is the year. This is it.
It's nothing like being an offensive lineman, and then you go out there and you call a running play, and you give all that you have blocking your man, and then when you look up, your guy is 80 yards in end zone. It's nothing looking up after the second half when you guys have put it all on the line, game after game after game, and they call a pass, a play action, and you as a lineman watch on the film a running back that sells out for the wide receiver to catch the game-winning touchdown, which you had a part in. Linemen love when they have running backs like that. That's why Jahmyr getting that tutelage from Barry Sanders is going to be key, because I never met an offensive lineman that blocked for Barry that said it was a problem.
Yeah, and Gibbs has really been fantastic, especially in the last week and a half. He's taken his game to the next level. And a few days ago, or maybe last week, Taylor Decker talked about David Montgomery also, and how excited he was to play with a guy with that type of mentality, and to have a running back, you know, get through the line and not let that first defensive player bring him down. Like the type of toughness that Montgomery brings to that backfield and to that team, Taylor Decker is one of those guys who absolutely loves it.
All right, Matt, we got you here for one more segment.
Yep.
Next, I want you to give me your overall observations of the Lions, your what you saw over the last couple of days against the Giants, and then what you are looking for mostly when it comes to Lions and Giants tomorrow at Ford Field. Braylon and I will share our thoughts as well. But first, a message from Mark White.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What could be better than watching celebrities like Braylon Edwards and Darren McCarty play golf?
Nothing.
Well, playing golf yourself and being treated like a celebrity, that's what. So stop in at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity with VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak afterwards. Compliments of Fairway Packing Company. Make the wise decision and get to a Randy Wise today for your chance to win.
Hey, everybody, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Man, we're kind of climbing up here over the last couple of days. It's great to see. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. We think we will provide the best Lions content, the best NFL content throughout this 2023 season, especially here in Detroit. And that is no cap. Speaking of cap or no cap, we will do that in hour number 2 of the program today. Also, it's a Top 10 Thursday. We'll get that.
Got me working out here
today,
man.
Man, I know. I got Braylon working today.
Maz, where you at?
Yeah, Tom Mazaway is out. Matt Broder is in today for one more segment with us. Broder, talk to me about what you're looking for tomorrow night. What is the one thing you want to see first tomorrow night as the Lions and Giants play at Ford Field?
I want to see, so we don't know how much the starters are going to be playing tomorrow, so my eyes are going to be on that second and third units. I want to see who comes out of some of these competitions ahead. We're talking the linebacker crew. How does Derek Barnes look versus Jack Campbell and Malcolm Rodriguez? Anzalone's got the starting position locked down, but Barnes is coming for that second spot. I'm looking for some of these new secondary pieces. Depending on how long we see them, we're probably going to see a lot of Brian Branch, who's been getting a lot of run with the first team. I'd like to see what he looks like out there with some of the second team players and see how he plays against the Giants. And
Let me stop you right there for a minute, because Brian Branch is a guy that's making a lot of plays in training camp so far, and he seems like he's picking up the defense. He's picking up the reps exactly as coaches would hope he would, and even a little bit quicker. I mean, when you know the defense, you play faster. When you know the offense, you play faster. It doesn't seem like this guy is hesitating or thinking about where he's going at any point of these practices.
Yeah, and didn't Barry Sanders say something similar to that about Jahmyr Gibbs? About once he's mastered that mental part of the game, his speed gets elevated. He plays the game faster because it's slower to him. I think of Branch in a very similar way. Like, that's what we knew of him coming out of college. He's got these instincts at the safety position or the nickel or the cornerback position that he played at Alabama. But how's that going to translate to the NFL with, his 4.5 40 time? The mental aspect of his game, his experience playing in the Alabama offense is what I believe is leading to these moments that we see, these clips that we see, which are only a fraction of the good plays that he's making. He's always in the mix when there's a ball, when his players are targeted.
Yeah, first and foremost, he went to Alabama. Let's stop there. He went to Alabama. The guys that come out of Alabama, especially in the last 12 years, they are players in the NFL, especially the SEC. You look at those schools. Now, getting back to him, this is a guy that was rated the best secondary player in the draft in terms of him playing nickel, him playing outside, and him being a safety in the slot as well as nickel. He can do it all, and this is the reason why the Lions were so happy they got him in the second round. It's going to be fun to watch him. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson is the guy that's going to be leading this roster. But we're looking at a future where it's going to be Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. And I don't want to rush that future, but those two are going to be electric. But Brian Branch is going to be a damn good player in this NFL. Like, just every player that the Lions have, it's going to be funny just to watch how this year plays out in terms of the guys drafted this year. Because everybody around the country was like, who's this guy, that guy, even I, in terms of one player. It's going to be fun to watch it all play out.
One of the things, Braylon, I think Brian Branch is doing for you as well, and you know, maybe this then goes to Aaron Glenn, is if you've got 3 capable safeties out there, if you've got 4 capable safeties out there, you know, when it comes to CJ, GJ, when it comes to Brian Branch,
yeah, they can all play.
Tracy Walker, and who am I not thinking of right now? Kirby Joseph. You know, we talk about positionless NBA a little bit. Maybe you get your best playmakers on the field in the defensive backfield.
It's funny you say that. My junior year in Michigan, I know I got a story for everything. I mean, that's why I'm
That's
on
great.
here.
That's why you're here.
That's why I got to earn my money.
Newsflash. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. My junior year, we got a new defensive back coach, Ron English, who ended up being the head coach at Eastern Michigan.
Yep.
But he wanted to put all the DBs on It's funny you say that. At the same time, Marlon Jackson was freshman All-American. He was All-American his second year. They moved him to safety so that they could have Jeremy LeSueur, Marcus Curry, Marlon Jackson, and Ernest Shazar on the field at the same time, and they didn't have to put a rookie safety in, which would have been Ryan Mundy. They put all those guys in at the same time. 2 of them made first team All Big Ten, and all of them together had a hell of a year. You wanted to put the best defense, so secondary players in at the same time, and it worked for Michigan. Why the hell can't it work for Detroit?
Brian Branch is forcing Aaron Glenn to make a decision.
A good one.
On scheme, really, isn't he?
I think so, and it just fits because Aaron Glenn, he wants to play man coverage and he wants to blitz a lot, and the versatility that these guys bring that you've been touching on allows him to do that because it allows him to disguise those schemes, so different guys can blitz off the edge, different cornerbacks can blitz. You know, even Cam Sutton, Will Harris, these guys can play little nickel, they can play safety. That's what Cam Sutton did at Pittsburgh with the Steelers. So. We saw, these last 2 days in practice, we saw Brian Branch move to that nickel position with the first team. GJ moved out to safety alongside Kirby Joseph, and it allowed Tracy Walker to then captain the second team defense. And he looked good with that second team. I don't think he has his explosion back yet from his Achilles injury, but seeing him out there and how vocal he is with those second line players, I think that could be something special brewing.
A lot of nicknames in his secondaries, but another good thing about Branch plays DB as well. Like the one thing, I know we got Cam Sutton in the offseason. I know we're waiting to see Mosley come back from injury. But our second, in terms of the cornerback position alone, still trying to figure out who that second guy is going to be. Still trying to figure out what that second, the cornerback position is going to be. Now you got another guy that can play nickel, and he plays at the highest level because of, last time I checked, 3 of the top 5 receivers in the NFL right now all come from the SEC. Brian Branch has been covering those guys for the better part of the last 3 years. It's a perfect setup.
Great point.
You know, before I get to the offense, I want you to hear this one piece of sound from James Houston talking about his play, because I feel like we haven't talked a lot about James Houston throughout the first couple of weeks of camp. He comes in, he's listed as the 3rd stringer on the first depth chart. Now again, this first depth chart is the first depth chart. It's going to be ebbs and flows, and we'll have a new one on Monday after the game on Friday probably. But so much is expected of James Houston, and I think Dan Campbell even pointed his name out in just talking about, we think that these first-year guys last year are automatically going to jump and take a huge leap in year 2, which is this year for them. You know, whether it's Hutchinson, Joseph, Houston,
Aleem
McNeil, Malcolm Rodriguez, insert year 2 guy here, right? Because all of these rookies last year played a significant portion of the playing time last year. Well, Dan Campbell pointed, he's like, look, he's going to put the work in. He's got to put the work in, and he's not just automatically shows up and just doubles his production of a year ago. Just take a listen to the sound and see what you think.
There was a lot of violence being displayed, a lot of good technique. There was a couple of things I feel, obviously every day there's things to clean up, but there was a lot that we had to clean up yesterday as well. But I feel like we showed a lot of violence. We were intense. We were kind of putting the pressure on them yesterday.
Check that. That was Aleem McNeil, actually. talking about his play and all of the violence. But go back to James Houston, guys. Houston is a guy that I feel like we take for granted a little bit, but there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that says he is not putting the work in or anything like that. It's just, you got all these names coming at every which way. I mean, Josh Paschal is up there, and this defense has a lot of talent, Bray.
Defense has a lot of talent right now, and I think, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are trying to see how they want to get this talent going throughout the season, figure out where they want to start these guys at. But make no mistake about it, James Houston is definitely being valued. The only problem is Charles Harris is the guy that they're paying on that right side. Aiden Hutchinson is the guy that they drafted on the left side. Pascal is the guy that they brought in the second round last year, and they had high hopes for Josh Pascal last year. So it's not a thing where he's being devalued or disrespected, just more of a thing where, we're coming along trying to get our rotations together and how we want to run this thing. We got a lot of talent, and we want to see who steps up to the challenge. But also, I guarantee you, they're not going to give guys like, hey, you know what, because you're this year, this is you, or we're paying you this amount of money, this is you. They're going to see which guys can fit in there, which guys want to be the starter, which guys want to take more reps. So the good problem to have is you have that problem.
Yeah, he may end up being that third down, rush the passer guy, not because he's regressed in his play, but because all other guys around him have continued to improve. And we talked about that before the show. We were talking, they invested heavily in the secondary, but they're allowing that defensive line to develop.
Just
good point.
Ali McNeil, since we just heard him talking about
James Houston.
Well, Ali McNeil, since we heard him talking about the violence out there, the physicality. I mean, that's a player too that just gets it. Isn't he a player that just gets it? I mean, you talk about this defensive line as a whole, and that is one of the areas that I think people feel is the
lacking,
least talented of. If you just take talent from every position group,
right?
Maybe least amount of resources. Well, it's undisputable. That interior defensive line has probably where the least amount of resources have been put for the Detroit Lions. But I mean, you talk McNeil, Bugs. I mean, these guys are Kaminsky, Onzarike. I mean, these guys are
the badasses, man. They feel like I got you. They're badasses, and they're worried about the physicality because that's what the type of season they want it to be. That's the type of team they want to be. They don't want to be a team that's out there all willy-nilly, sliding off of linemen to sneak and get tackled. They want to run guys over at the point of attack. They're trying to create the point of attack and get the offensive linemen to go backward. That's what Dan Campbell's instilling. And actually, it's not even Dan anymore. It's the players. It's not like once you get a team to go in the direction that you want, then it's like you taper off. It's like putting a kid on a bike with training wheels, and slowly but surely as they get it, you take the training wheels off and you stand further and further behind. I think he's letting his players, even though they haven't won a playoff game, they still get it identity-wise. He's letting them talk. He's letting them police themselves. He's letting them be the one to get on other guys. He's letting them ones set the tempo.
And that's part of that savviness, just real quick, part of that savviness of coaches who have played the game before. They know what they felt like or what they wanted in coaches. And there's a time to take the pedal off and let the players police themselves or motivate themselves. So I like that point, Bray.
Yeah. I know you got to get out of here, Broder.
Broder.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. You got any last words? Any last thoughts?
No, I just hit the emojis in the bottom right corner for the boys here. That helps the algorithm. 5-star. Give us a like, and I'll see you guys soon. I'm sure.
Oh, hell
sure.
yeah! Good stuff. Matt Broder. Check him out on WoodwardSports.com. Lions beat writer for WoodwardSports.com. You going to play a little golf?
No, I'm not.
Oh, damn.
I wish. It's
beautiful.
There
you
out.
go. Damn.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Matt Broder. We'll check you out. Check your stuff out on WoodwardSports.com. We got to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about offensively. And the one guy, maybe this is a little bit of an easy out, but the one guy that has really, truly, seems to me, taken the next step and gone next level throughout this training camp. It's a familiar name, but it's not Jared Goff. Tell you who that is coming up next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Come to Fairway Packing that's an award-winning meat buying experience as well.
There you go.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience a Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab and go steaks. Order online. They ship next day. FairwayPacking.com. FairwayPacking.com.
Source aged, prime, cut, packed to perfection.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Everybody watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 60 likes. How about that? Is that manageable by the end of this segment? Let's see if we can get there. Woodward Sports Network. Maybe you're watching at home on your couch, on your phone, on your iPad, however you're listening or watching the Woodward Sports. We absolutely appreciate you. Braylon, I got one player.
What's the player you got
that
for
has come into camp and completely gone next level. And I want your expertise on this. To me, Amon-Ra St. Brown has gone next level. He just looks like he is going to be top 9, top 10 guy this year. I mean, his stats alone last year, just the pure statistics alone, touchdowns notwithstanding, all top 10 in every category you can imagine last year for wide receivers. But he just looks like a guy that I don't know, could be the MVP of this team.
Yeah, the reason why I was laughing is because I held it before you start talking for 4 words, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it now, he absolutely has taken that next step, and I'm laughing because you keep saying like he's leveled up. It almost reminds me of Dragon Ball Z. Like he's going into the way that she made me feel. Can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. By the way that she's dancing up in them hills. Can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. I'm stuck in a dream. This can't be real. Can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. By the way that she move and I can't stay still. Can't deal with it. Can't deal with it.
But looking
With
at
the cards I'm dealt, can't play the field. By the way that she move and I just can't deal. My poker face, no joke today. She hold jokers, can't fold the play. I'm trapped and I can't come back. Lost my mind, how I deal with that. She lets go, moving in control, letting out that soul. Can't deal with the way that she made me feel. Can't deal with it, can't deal with it. By the way that she dancing up in them hills. He's always working. He's always working after practice. He's always in the gym. He's always working with Jared Goff and working with Ben Johnson and working with Antoine Randall on what the play calls need, what he can help and what he can do. That's how you get great. And when you watch him, he's always giving it. And even during the season, Ryan, it's always for the team. It's what the team needs. It's not what Amon-Ra St. Brown needs. It's not what 14 needs. It's what the team needs. However you need to use me, whether it's blocking for a touchdown, whether it's catching a touchdown, running a touchdown, whatever the team calls upon him to do, he does. So he's definitely in shape to be the MVP of this team. And if you're talking about a team that can go to the NFC Championship, Ryan, which we both believe they can, a couple things fall their way, you're MVP of that team. That means you're an all-pro caliber type player.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and at the end of the video, don't put the video up anymore because I think it mutes the mics when it goes up. But the trash talking, as somebody points out, at the end of the play in practice.
Yeah.
You know, it's an attitude from Amon-Ra St. Brown that he plays with, an attitude of, I'm better than you, we're going to beat you, and guys feed off that.
What you see a lot of that too, which I like, is Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't the guy that was drafted in the first round like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And the only reason I point that out, it seems that the higher the draft pick, the more buddy-buddy they are with other DBs and other players, or in basketball. Everybody in the first round seems to be on the buddy-buddy system. So that's why I like that Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not buddy-buddy with the guys over there with the New York Giants. He wants to show you, look, you come in the Ford Field, this is our team, this is what I do. make plays like this on you all day. I like that back talk because right now at this era, people don't talk stuff like that. So to see that in preseason of all things, I'm on Ron St. Brown is gonna. Remember, I always say he reminds me of like a Hines Ward. Like one thing about Hines Ward, when you played against him, I didn't play defense, so I didn't have that problem. But you knew you played in a game when you played against Hines Ward. He was going to be safeties up. He was going to be DBs up. He was going to catch passes over DBs, catch touchdowns. He was going to block linebackers. It didn't matter. After you played the Steelers and Hines Ward, you knew you were in a fight. I'm on Ron St. Brown's like the same guy to me. After you play in a game against him, you know you're going to have been in a fight.
You know, I'm on Ross St. Brown, too, is a guy that loves football and loves to get better at football. And Dan Campbell pointed this out, and he gave all the credit to Brad Holmes. I believe it was yesterday at the press conference. They all seem to run together to me, but he gave all the credit to Brad Holmes in acquiring a type of football player, not just talented guys, but talented guys who love to play football and who are consumed with getting better. And that's, you know, not every player in the NFL that's on a roster wants to put the work in. A lot of them are there because they're just damn good at it. They're better than you. They're so talented. They don't need to put all the extra work. Hell, I just watched a Johnny Manziel documentary who had 0 hours of game film on his iPad after he left the facility. Lots of players don't do the extra. It seems like, you know, a lot of players on the Lions do the extra.
You know what? And I'll be full honest with you. You know, being drafted number 3 overall, playing on, you know, certain situations and having records and accolades and things like that. There are days, Ryan, where you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like doing anything today, and you don't. And you simply don't. You're like, you know what? 4'3", 6'3", 3rd pick overall. I can miss today's practice. And you do, and it turns into more and more. That's the type of attitude you don't want to have, and that's the attitude he by far does not have. And it's good to watch. I'm on Ross St. Brown. It's good to see a guy like that be able to lead this team. I'm excited to see what they can do, and just it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to really watch Amon Ross St. Brown and his team this year, man. Take that next step, if you will.
And Jared Goff, Jared Goff has been doing, I don't know, it's so hard to kind of look. You see what you see in practice. You see what you see on the clips. You see what you see against a playoff team from a year ago against the Giants, and it's hard not to feel really good about these guys. Now, just sitting here talking about practice for the last couple of weeks, sitting here talking about all this stuff, I mean, it almost sounds like we're just handing the Lions the NFC North Division, and certainly they will have they will have to earn that. And they haven't played Kansas City yet. These games don't count, but there's something about the way these guys are going about training camp, including Jared Goff, that makes you feel like this is almost a can't-lose situation this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to lose games. That's a part of it. You know, last team that went undefeated, it was the New England Patriots, and even they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost to the Super Bowl. So you're going to lose some games here and there. All we're really saying, Ryan, is we're pointing out what the Lions have done. We're pointing out what you can see. We're pointing out what's on paper. We're pointing out what you see in practice. We're pointing out the people across the country that are jumping on the bandwagon of the Detroit Lions, but we're showing you highlights and comments from the Giants and from other people so to support what we're talking about. We're not saying they're going 17-0 and they're going to win the Super Bowl. All we're saying is they should win the NFC North, and they should win the first round playoff game. They should win a playoff game. They should have a home field game, and they should win it based on what we've seen. Jared Goff last year was amazing as a quarterback. I mean, hey, he lost head-to-head to Geno Smith, but I feel like he got screwed in terms of comeback player of the year. That definitely could have been him, and it should have been him. He was amazing last year. The Lions in the last 10 games, you saw what they did. We're making things up. They drafted well as well, and everything we're showing you, you get a chance to see a little bit on film. So I don't think we're making or blowing smoke. We're saying simply what they're going to do.
Did you want to play in the preseason when you played?
Hell no.
No. So these guys don't want to play.
No, I wanted to play. I wanted to play 2 games. Like, I didn't want to play at all in the first one, because it's usually right after you really get going. Like, you really kind of just get your legs back, and then the first 2 weeks of pre-camp, and training camp, and then you have a preseason game, which delays that process again. Hated the first game. Wouldn't mind playing the whole first quarter of the second one, and I like playing the whole first quarter of the third one. Didn't need the fourth one. I didn't need the first.
What about if you had to extrapolate the way you felt about preseason and training camp when you played, when there were 4 games and very few joint practices, to today's game where there's, the Lions have joint practices this week, they have joint practices next week, and 3 preseason games.
This doesn't feel like training camp.
Yeah.
Like what they go through, I would much rather what they go through. And I'm not sliding them and saying that what we went through was more physical, but it was. So what we did was I went through 2-a-days, actual 2-a-day, 1-a-day, followed by 2-a-day, followed by 1-a-day, followed by 2-a-day. Like we had this schedule for 2 weeks. And then you had a little bit of let down here, a little bit of let back, ease back a little bit once it got going. But we got after it, man, for the better part of end of July through the end of August to Labor Day weekend. We got after it. You were so tired by the time the season starts. Everybody's first game is sluggish. You're always going to see some amazing highlights because somebody was fresh and they're going to get off in that first week, and you'll see a lot of guys that still have those camp legs. That's what it's called, those camp legs. But the way they do camp now, they don't have those camp legs. But they do get a lot of injuries early on in the year, and that's a lot of things we didn't have. But I'd rather their schedule because we hit a lot.
Yeah, and it almost feels too like the reps that they got this week in practice are every bit as important as reps you get or don't get in the game tomorrow. And conversely, again, when you do this again next week with the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's a Saturday game. You'll play them. You'll host them in practice a couple of times. And,
it's purposeful work.
Yeah.
Like, it's purposeful work. It's work against another team. It's a couple of days. You get in, you get out. You have a day off. You regroup. You talk about it. You have the game. Like, it's purposeful work. And you're not putting in a lot of. It seems like a lot of practice for nothing. Like practice over and over and over and over again. It's good to switch it up.
Yeah, I'm not going negative on the Lions. There's enough places for that if you want. I'm sure, but until they give me something to be negative about, it's all positive from me. This is a different football team, and it just feels like that every aspect about this football team feels different.
Here's a question for you, Ryan. If the Lions start off 0-2, will you panic?
No.
You won't panic if they start off 0-2?
I won't panic.
Okay.
I don't think they will panic.
Not the question.
But the question is, I won't panic. Because this schedule feels like it eases up, specifically after those first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I will promise you I won't panic unless it's a situation where I feel like Dan Campbell has some terrible clock management or something that I just can't get past. But
if they're 0-2 in 2 good games, I won't panic at all. But if they lose that first one and then against in a good one and then Seattle they get their ass kicked, I'll be nervous.
Yeah.
I would be nervous if it happened like that.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. Guys, I want to give a shout out to Dante151. Spent $5 in the Woodward Sports chat, $4.99. His chat shout out to Reese Olson for only giving up 2 hits and 0 runs through 6 innings against the Twins. Tigers are playing the Twins right now as they look to go 3 wins in 4 contests against the Minnesota Twins. Tigers lead it 1-0 in the top of the 7th. Reese Olson, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts.
So Phil Mickelson wagered over $1 billion.
I want to talk about that eventually, but I wasn't ready to talk about that. But if you want to talk about it, I'm in.
Hey, whenever you want to talk about it, I'm in there.
One more Lions segment, if you'll oblige me. Sam Laporta sat down with Dan Miller. I want to play that interview for you. And I want to just get a sense of the 5 rookies that you point to: Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, and Broderick Martin.
Yes.
Should it tell me who you think will have the biggest impact early in the season? Biggest impact early in the season. But first, a message from 5 Iron Golf.
All right. Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf located in Cambria Hotel, downtown Detroit. In fact, tonight, that's right, tonight, starting at 5 o'clock, is the kickoff of the Woodward Sports Network Thursday night golf league. Should be a lot of fun. Hey, you can even win a free foursome if you come down and you use the right promo, which is at Woodward Sports. Come down there, use the promo, you can have a good time. And also, you can play some of the best golf courses around the country. You don't have to even leave the state. And great food, 13 simulators, drinks. Also, Woodward Sports. We'll see you tonight, 5 to 7.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
The Academy of Warren has a brand new state-of-the-art sports stone field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. Also can be used for 7-on-7 football. K-8 that features AM and PM latchkey, classroom, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and just to let you guys know, Ermanni and Edwards will be broadcasting from their carnival on August 24th. Come meet the staff and explore your child's new school. They are now also accepting enrollment. Go to academyofwarren.net, that website again, academyofwarren.net.
Hey, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. J. Will Fan, he's been a member of the Woodward crew for 4 months, says, I'm on Ross St. Brown, the man. He's going to have a huge year, absolutely. I want to thank everybody in the woodwardsports.com chat. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes on YouTube by the end of this segment. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. If you can't watch live, download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review, available anywhere and everywhere you listen to your podcast. Guys, there's 5 rookies we really believe will impact the Lions this year. Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. I always want to call him Ja because that's what his chain says. Brian Branch, and I think that's all of them. I named them all 5 of them. One of those guys, Sam Laporta, sat down with Dan Miller yesterday of Fox 2, and I want to play a little bit of that, and then we'll react.
It's extremely physical. It's fast-paced. All you have to do is do your job. If you try to make it bigger than it is or more complex than it is, it can become really overwhelming. So just trying to focus in on those little details and, just your job in executing it.
Well, you've been doing a good job of that because Ben Johnson has been on record as saying you've earned snaps with the number 1 unit out there. What does it mean when you hear the offensive coordinator saying this young man is doing a nice job and he deserves to be out there?
From the first day I came in the building, you want to establish trust with your coaches, with your teammates, the quarterback. It's great to hear Ben say those things about me. We're all working really hard to build that trust and, only up from here, hopefully.
Have you looked at the history of the tight end position? It is a position that sometimes it's tough for guys to make that transition right away. It can take some time. A, have you looked at that? B, do you have any idea why that might be?
I'd say the playbook is pretty extensive, being involved in the run game and then almost all the passing concepts. It's just a lot of knowledge that you have to gain fairly quickly. You get here in April, early May, and then you're on a quick learning curve. So I'd say that's one of the difficulties of being a young tight end, and I'm trying to stay ahead of that learning curve.
Since the day you walked in, you've had this smile on your face, and it's just like you love what you're doing, like a kid playing football, and then there's this side of you out on the field where you just truck people. And to me, it seems like 2 different guys. What happens when you go out there?
Yeah, I guess when you strap on the helmet and get between the white lines. I don't know. I guess the friendliness is like turned down a notch, but yeah.
Or are you smiling when you're trucking people?
Yeah, I mean, we're having fun out there too, of course, but you know, we're all living our dream. You know, you're a little kid, you want to play in the National Football League one day, and you know, I get this opportunity. So trying to take advantage of it every day is something that I need to do, not that I have to do. It's what I want to do.
And that's cool. And you know what? You've worked hard to be here, and you've worked hard for this opportunity. Just give me an idea. Life as an NFL player, you're not going to class anymore, but you are in this building basically going to class every day. How is it different for you, and how are you enjoying it?
You know, I'm enjoying it a lot. You spend all day here with your buddies learning football, the game that you love, and then, you know, it's really about the people that you surround yourself with. You know, I just mentioned my buddies, the tight end group. They're great. You know, they've really welcomed me with open arms, and, you know, they've taught me a lot already. So getting to enjoy time with them, my coaches, and everybody else on the team, it really is what makes this game so special.
Hey, final thing, and I have no idea who's getting what snaps or what's going to happen, but have you drifted your mind to Friday night and running out on Ford Field for the first time?
No, I have. I mean, I'm really going to enjoy that moment. I think I'll be playing, so, you know, I'm just looking forward to it.
So that's Sam Laporta, courtesy Dan Miller, Fox 2 for that interview. And Sam Laporta looks like a guy that I think a lot of people are going to love around here, Braylon Edwards. A lot of people are going to love him because he's got that workman-like mentality, Midwest guy, Iowa Hawkeye, you know, grit, toughness, all that, and he plays football the way it's supposed to be played.
Dallas Clark, Bob Sanders, Sean Green, Matt Roth. These are some of the Iowa players that I know. These are some of them. Fred Russell, Freddie Boom Boom, who's from Romulus down the street. These are some. Brad Banks, quarterback on the worst loss I ever took in college at the Big House. Iowa players, is something about them, man. They play together, they play strong, and you can count on them. You can depend on them. That's every Iowa player I've ever met. It's the same thing. So this is the type of guy you're getting in Sam Laporta, and I don't have to tell you that. You can just watch his interviews. It comes through. It's true and true. We had Big E on the show, another Iowa guy, another loyal guy. What did Big E say about running into Sam Laporta in the elevator and talking to him? Says he's a guy that you can believe that can be loyal. He's a damn good football player. You asked that question, I'm ready to answer it.
Yeah, and the question is early, and by early I'm talking first month of the season here. Which rookie do you believe is going to contribute the quickest? Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Broderick Martin.
And the answer to that is Sam Laporta. And I believe Sam Laporta is going to be the biggest contributor. We'll see what happens in the year after year. I'll just stick with the question that you had. I think it's Sam Laporta. And the reason why I think it's Sam Laporta is because I think he's a tight end that's ready to play now. He's a tight end that's ready to be a tight end one. He's ready to fill in the shoes that another Iowa Hawkeye left last year in T.J. Hockenson. He's going to be better than T.J. Hockenson. He's a yards after catch guy. He's ready. And also, you don't have Jamison for the first 6 weeks of the season, so you got to find another guy to get the ball to. Sam Laporta, he's going to be nice, man. I also think he's going to lead the Detroit Lions in touchdowns this year throughout the entirety of the season. I think it's going to be him. I think he's going to be a guy that makes the Pro Bowl this year in year one. I think he will be the guy that plays the best early and the guy that they depend on in terms of that rookie class. I think it's Sam Laporta.
I think it's a pretty big point you make, and I don't necessarily disagree with you at all. In fact, I never quite thought of it like that. You think he's going to lead this team in touchdown catches this season?
I do.
That's how good he is in the red zone.
That's how good he is in the red zone, and also his yards after catch. Like Sam Laporta would be a guy that, you know, anywhere from 40 in, I think he'll be dangerous in terms of to score a touchdown. Lions will use him. You saw a lot of that play action stuff, a lot of that belly pass stuff that they tried to do last year with Brock Wright, a little bit with T.J. Hockenson early on in the season. You saw that huge monstrous game that he had. I want to say at 189. I want to say it was against Seattle. They're going to play teams early in the season. They play the Seattle Seahawks. They play the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to have to score points to beat both of those teams. The way you score points, sometimes you got to put the ball in the air. I see him as the guy that scores touchdowns. I see him as a red zone threat and a 40-yard fringe threat, which is 25 and in. I see him as the guy scoring touchdowns, and he gets a 6-week head start on Jamison Williams.
And, you know, one of the funny things, too, about Sam Laporta, that Inside the Den, I think it was episode 3, that came out during Sam Laporta's combine interview with the Lions. You know, he's sitting there by the monitor and getting ready to do his interview, and he's sweating, and they're like, "Are you nervous?" And he's like, "Yeah." You know, like a LA night. Yeah. Yeah.
There it is. But yeah, I think early on, man, I think that's a guy that can help those guys out. Because eventually, when water levels out, and maybe I was rash, maybe it would be Jahmyr Gibbs that leads the team in touchdowns. But early on, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, they're going to have to figure out the system and how they're going to run those guys in the backfield when they want to use David Montgomery, when they want to use Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it'll take a couple games to really get that established. He's going to be tight end one from jump. He's going to be the guy from game one that they're going to in that tight end position, getting passes to third and longs, first down when you try and take shots after. And once you get in that fringe, the 25-yard, and then they're going to try to get him the ball early and often.
Yeah, and fortunately, we have this conversation because we think that, these Detroit Lions rookies are going to be such huge contributors to this team in a positive way, not because they have to be, not because this team is so bad that they need their rookies to come in and play, but you've got really good football players who just happen to be young joining a good football team that they will help lift to what we hope is just one of those great years in Detroit sports history.
I mean, like, the players that you're bringing in are the best players on their team. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you're drafting the best players on their team. And in Brian Branch's case, he played at Alabama, so him being the fourth best is like being number one in any other team in the country. These guys are the best players. Aiden Hutchinson was the best player. Broderick Martin was the best player. Brian Branch was the fifth best player at Alabama. Jack Campbell and Sean LaPorta. Take your guess, 1, 2, 1. It doesn't matter. They were the best players. When you can get the best players off teams in the second and third and fourth round, that's when you add key starters to your roster.
All right, Braylon, you are going to play producer for me.
I am.
Coming up next, because you've got two staples here coming up. We've got cap or no cap, and we've got a Braylon top 10. You tell me which direction we're going next.
Top 10 will be next. We'll do top 10 next.
There it is. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network.
Woodward Sports on a Wednesday. Talking Lions, why not? Having a little fun here. We had Matt Broder in, Lions beat reporter for us here at Woodward Sports. You can check his stuff out, woodwardsports.com. Lions off today. No availability to the media. They did make some roster moves, though. They have officially signed Teddy Bridgewater, running back Benny Snell from the Steelers, waived guard Logan Stenberg, and placed running back Justin Jackson on the reserve retired list. We let you know about that in the top of the hour. Just wanted to hit you with that again. Also, like the show, how about we go to over 125 likes by the end of this sale. Maybe we can get to 200 today before the live show is over. Let's make that as our goal today. 200 likes by the end of the show. Let's see if we can get to over 125 likes by the end of this segment. Braylon Edwards, it is a Thursday. That means it is a top 10 Thursday. What
Top
are we
10
doing
Thursday.
today?
Last week we didn't do top 10, and that was on me. So the day I figured we'd come back. It's getting close to fantasy football season. I figure everybody's out there. Who am I going to put on my fantasy? Well, how about we give you an example? This is my example of the top 10 fantasy rookies in 2023.
Ooh.
So these are the players that I believe are going to be the fantasy leaders once it comes all said and done. Starting with, you ready for this, Parker? Number 10. Let's get it. C.J. Stroud.
Oh.
I believe C.J. Stroud. I'm still not sure about what he's going to do, if he's going to break the Ohio State quarterback curse. Team's young. I don't know a lot, but I do know he was a damn good quarterback. You can count on him in certain plays. I think 10 is good for him, and he's a quarterback. Should be at that. Number 9.
Can I say something about C.J. Stroud real quick?
You can.
NFL Network tonight, Houston Texans and New England Patriots. You're going to see C.J. Stroud tonight. How about that?
You know what? Then I'll have more information when I come in tomorrow. Because the more information you know, the better you are. All right, what we got for number 9, Parker? Kendre Miller. This is a guy that I liked a lot. Obviously, TCU. We got a chance to see him up close and personal. He's playing it. This is one of the reasons why Kareem Hunt may not want to go to the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, because they have Kendre Miller. He was a dynamic running back out of TCU last year to the tune of 1,400 yards. So look for him to do some good things in New Orleans. Number 8, where we at on the list? Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, that's a good one.
Now, you always link, you said, for Tom Mazaway, it's going to be Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons. Well, Dalton Kincaid will always get linked to Sam Laporta, because I think Sam Laporta.
And Michael Mayer, right?
And Michael Mayer.
3 guys.
And those 3 guys. But I think Dalton Kincaid's better than Mayer, but I think Sam Laporta is better than them all. But he's in a system where they need a tight end up there in Buffalo. They need somebody to be an outlet for Josh Allen. That's something that they needed last year. If they could have had a competent tight end in the playoffs, could have played a lot better against that Cincinnati team. So look for Dalton Kincaid to have a big
Let me ask you about Kincaid for a second before we move on, if that's okay. We always talk about Stephon Diggs getting some help here, right? I mean, and Gabe Davis, no disrespect to him at all, really nice receiver over there.
Yeah,
but
had a bad year.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Can Dalton Kincaid be that? I don't want to say Sam Laporta, but we believe Sam Laporta is going to fill in for Jameson freaking Williams. Okay, I mean, those are pretty darn big shoes to fill. Can Dalton Kincaid have that same impact for Buffalo?
I think so. The way they run their system. Listen, this is not 1995. Tight ends nowadays, in this 2023, I told you it was going to rain. In 2023, these tight ends nowadays, these guys can play. They play like receivers. They run like receivers. Dalton Kincaid is in a system where he has Josh Allen. Let's just start there. Every year, people say Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. Josh Allen is his quarterback. They're going to have a bounce-back year from last year. They hope. But Dalton Kincaid is going to have a good year regardless.
During the commercial break, I looked outside and I was like, is it supposed to rain today? You think I know that? I mean, we do weather every 10 minutes at Fox 2. You said yes, and Parker's over there. No,
I looked at my phone. I totally
looked at my phone.
It is friggin' pouring out.
Yeah, that's completely.
The older you get, trust your eyes, not your phone.
Yeah, don't.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's rain.
I'm not a meteorologist.
I love it. No, not supposed to rain.
No, not at all.
It says on my device.
Funny, Parker. I love that. You're the man, bro.
We're just messing with you, buddy.
I know. I was supposed to go mow the lawn after this.
Oh, now you got.
Not
now you
today.
No, not after this.
You got a break today. Speaking of breaks, number 7. Number 7, Bryce Young. Bryce Young is on the list. Now, he will be higher, but still trying to see what their receiver core is going to be. Remember, they gave up DJ Moore in order to get him. So, Bryce Young, damn good quarterback. He checks every freaking box except height. If it was for that, everybody would be excited about what he could do for the Carolina Panthers, but have him on their
You like this team this year, yeah.
I like that team a lot because I got a chance to see them when the Detroit Lions played them in the end of the year. What are we talking about the Lions in 2021, how well they played at the end of the year? Well, that's how the Carolina Panthers played last year. They played like balls to the wall from all of December, and they beat up on the Detroit Lions. They have a good running game. They have a really good defense led by J.C. Horn, that DB. I like them. I do like them. Coming in at number 6, Parker. That's not Peter. Quentin Johnson, another guy that we got a chance to see up close and personal. in that Fiesta Bowl. Quentin
Guy,
Johnson
I mean,
has
nightmares over this guy.
I'm telling you, man, he caught that doggone drag route and took it 74 yards. Look, he's a fellow number one, so I got to show love where love is due. He's been killing it since he got to Los Angeles. They've been talking about nothing but him. And you got to think, there's a guy that just got paid like Johnny Kemp, and that's Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen, hurt every year. Michael Williams, hurt every year. He's waiting for a guy to be consistent. I think it could be Quentin Johnston. Number 5, Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
see, look around over again, PTSD.
Well, can I just say that for everybody that was hammering me
you're right about this one.
How many people thought we were on crack? Because you did, Parker. Thought we were on. Did JB? Were you there too? Just a couple of my friends who thought we were on crack in January. When I said, and Maz, I got to bring him into this too, said that Anthony Richardson should be the Lions pick at 6. He was people. Oh, you crazy! You don't know football. I'm turning this show off. You don't know what you're talking about. Who is this guy? Lions didn't take him at 6 because he was taken at 4. He wasn't even around at 6, and now, by all accounts, this guy's just come in and knocked the socks off of everybody in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and he's killing it out there. And what you want to see, a dual threat. You talk about Johnny Manziel. He's a guy, look, when something's broken, he's a guy that can get out of a jam and get you a first down. He can extend the drive. He can get you a touchdown and create an extra series at the end of the game. It's going to be fun to watch him play. You know, once Jonathan Taylor, they ever get that done, you put those two guys together, he's going to be a lot of fun to play, man. So I got him at 6. I got him at 5. You guys are right. I said, hey, he wouldn't be in the top 5 draft picks. He was top 4. We're going to see how he plays because I'm trying to come around. His upside is just through the roof. That's the thing that excites you the most about him is the upside. Speaking of upside, number 4.
Oh, I like that. Number 4.
Number 4.
I love
voiceover
guy.
I always wanted to be like a movie phone guy. Zay Flowers, he have been destroying it since he got to camp. They've talked about him, the people that have gone to see the Baltimore Ravens training camp, they talked about how much separation he has from the DBs when he's running routes. He is destroying those guys. You're talking about guys that are Pro Bowl caliber DBs over on that Baltimore Ravens defense. Zay Flowers, look out. Now you have Odell Beckham. Now you have Rashad Bateman. Now you have Duvernay. And now you got your deep threat in Zay Flowers. And Lamar Jackson is a happy guy to the tune of $262 million.
Could be a difference maker there for Baltimore. You know, I mean, and a little bit of pressure is off him too, playing next to Odell Beckham Jr. He doesn't have to be, you know, it's not Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a little bit of a reprieve with a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. standing next to him a little bit, you know?
He gets a lot of reprieve because one, his quarterback is Lamar Jackson, who we've seen get MVP with no wide receivers. And now you got a guy in Rashad Bateman who's a damn good receiver. Duvernay, who's a guy that can make some plays for you. And then, like you said, Odell Beckham helping with Mark Andrews, who's one of the top 3 tight ends in the league right now. Watch out for that team.
Yep.
Man. When we do our our division picks, you'll see where I'll be leaning on that one. Coming in at number 3, I believe we're at.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, buddy.
I got him on my team.
I was waiting.
Yeah, baby.
I was waiting.
Jahmyr Gibbs at number 3. You know what? You saw how he exploded on the linebacker 3 days ago and got up the sideline for that tremendous down the field play. A little double, little, and then take a little Barry Sanders, He's going to be great.
Little what?
It's quick, man. That's a little in and out. But he's explosive. He's dynamic. He gets in and out of breaks fast. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run through the tackles as well. He's going to have a really good year in years to come, if you will.
So exciting. Now, I got the player wrong, but I did get the position right. Man, Jahmyr Gibbs, every time this guy is on film, it's hard to see why his name wasn't more talked about until later in the draft process. His name did ultimately come up towards the end of the draft process, but man, this guy is a difference maker.
There was a player that I wanted to put up there before Jahmyr Gibbs. I know you don't have his Addison. You didn't. Oh, you do Addison? Oh, well, put Jordan Addison up there. Jordan Addison, baby, coming in at number 2.
Oh,
that's right, right. Jordan Addison coming in at number 2. Number two, you ask. Reason why I haven't been coming in number 2, Jordan Addison's playing in Minnesota. Who's the quarterback in Minnesota?
Kirk Cousins.
You guessed it, Kirk Cousins. He may not win you a playoff game, but he's going to get you 5,000 yards passing or somewhere close to it.
Yep.
He's going to have upwards of 35 to 40 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson can't catch every pass.
Yeah, I totally think Jordan Addison's going to be kind of one of those. I mean, yeah, you have that obvious number 1 receiver in Justin Jefferson, but Jordan Addison's could be just as good as Justin Jefferson.
What you're starting to see is, and he'll be damn good. He won't be as good as Justin Jefferson. But to your point, what you're starting to see is you're starting to see the number 1 wide receiver, the number 2 wide receiver, like Parker's alluding to, is another number 1 wide receiver. Devontae Smith is a Heisman winner and a damn good wide receiver. A.J. Brown is number 1 wide receiver on that team. It's going to be the same thing with these guys. I mean, you look at Jamar Chase. T. Higgins can be a number 1 on damn near most teams.
Yep.
But Jamar Chase is the number 1 on that team. That's what you're starting to see. Like the number 2, it's going to be a battle from here on out. But Jordan Addison with Kirk Cousins, T.J. Hockenson and Justin Jefferson are going to get a lot of attention.
Before we give you the number 1 player, number 1 rookie in fantasy, according to Braylon Edwards, I want to thank that one little grip kid. $5 in the WoodwardSports.com chat. You guys have made being a Detroit fan fun again. Hope the Lions continue to succeed. I'm 28, never felt that joy of a playoff win. Great stuff. Thank you, sir. That's a big compliment. We're trying to have some fun with this as well.
Yep, 28. That's because it's never happened, but it's going to happen this year. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the wide receiver that's not on the list. I would have had him 5. I made a mistake and didn't put him in there when I was sitting in the park. That's on me. Jackson Smith-Njigba is out there in Seattle, so he'll be
tied for 5th.
Exactly, he'll be tied for 5th. You got you have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Geno Smith with Charbonnet and K9 in the backfield. JSN is going to get off.
Stud.
100%. Number 1, you know who it is, Ryan Ermanni.
Oh, Bijan Robinson of Texas by way of Atlanta Falcons.
And this is the guy that you wanted, man. Bijan Robinson, he's a damn good running back. You saw what he was able to do at Texas to the tune of 1,800, 500 yards in passing. in receiving. He can do both. He's a dual threat running back. He's a monster. You put him with the Falcons. They were in a lot of games last year. They got a couple good receivers out there. We're going to see what the quarterback does. But if Desmond Ridder's your quarterback, chances are you're going to be leaning on your running back a lot. So expect Bijan Robinson to have a big rookie year.
And the number 1 rookie, fantasy rookie that Braylon Edwards has on the top 10. And I would say, let me ask you this question before we move off this. Yep. You know now what you knew then. Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, who would you take?
That's a terrible question you're going to ask your boy, man. It's Detroit love I'm giving out there. I still got to go Bijan Robinson.
I go Jahmyr Gibbs. I go Jahmyr Gibbs. Speed, versatility kills in the NFL. It is a total mismatch, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay, hear me out on this one. I'm looking at it from the standpoint, if we're going by running back years, and we're going back how good they are, how long they last, we're saying 6 years, we're saying 7 years.
We'll go 5, 6.
Okay, it's 6. We'll split it. So we'll go 6 years. Bijan Robinson is going to be a monster out of the get-go, out of the gate. I think the Lions are going to figure out how to use how to use Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to figure out how to use him in the backfield, how to use him out of the backfield, pass catching, a little running. Bijan Robinson, the team is being built around him. So I just think for what you're going to get out of him in the first 6 years, I would go that route. But the fact that it's a question, it's a thought process.
When you just see how the Atlanta Falcons did with the run game with Cordero Patterson, just imagine what it is with Bijan Robinson.
A wide receiver had 1,000 yards rushing in Atlanta.
Cap or no cap, 15 minutes from now. Coming up next, I want to get you a little bit of NFL preseason starts tonight. A couple of thoughts on that. Go around the league quickly. O.J. Simpson in the news again. He opened his mouth. I want Braylon's take on that. Cap or no cap coming up at 3:30. We'll do that if you're watching live. If you are not watching live, we'll do it 15 minutes from now. Also, Donovan Edwards had some pretty high praise for himself and some very high goals. I want to see what Braylon thinks about that as well. So lots of topics, very little show to do, but first a message. We're going to make it happen. First message from Planet Fitness.
Oh, we'll definitely make it happen. But summertime is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. And Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by with more than 50 convenient Metro Detroit locations and thousands more throughout the world. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or check them out online at planetfitness.com.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
What time it is? Over 12 locations in the state is Dispo, your local plug. And tomorrow we will be at the Hazel Park location right there at 11 Mile and and 75 Freeway. 21 and up, the best brands they have. They have the best brands. Got to go there. They got the best people serving and helping you and get you where you need to be. Whether it's edibles, whether it's flour, whatever you need, they got it. And they're the best at it. Dispo. We'll see you tomorrow, Hazel Park.
Woodward Sports Network. How's everybody doing out there? Hey, let's get to over 150 likes by the end of this segment. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. We have hit every benchmark so far that I've asked for, so why not do it again? Over 150 likes by the end of this segment. Thanks to everybody watching on YouTube. Braylon, just a couple of news and notes from around the NFL. Week 1 preseason starts tonight. We got a couple of games on the NFL Network. Texans and Patriots tonight. Vikings and Seahawks. We will not see Mac Jones for the Patriots. We are expected to see C.J. Stroud tonight for the Houston Texans. And then just some of the other Week 1 matchups. You've got Bryce Young and the Panthers versus the Jets. I mentioned the Texans, C.J. Stroud against the Patriots. Anthony Richardson versus the Bills. And the Titans, Will Levis will get the action against the Chicago Bears. So some pretty good quarterback matchups in this one. A lot of rookies, a lot of playing time. We'll be tuned in a little bit tonight. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'll peek into both games.
Be tuned in and want to see how they play these guys. You know, a lot now. Guys don't get a lot of reps doing training camps anymore. A lot of guys don't get reps doing practice. So it'd be interesting to see how many reps these guys get, because, you know, these are the future of your franchise. You know, stadiums are being built off of the future, what these guys can potentially do. So don't want to get them hurt.
Devontae Smith, who was teammates with Henry Ruggs at Alabama, was excused from the Eagles practice yesterday because he wanted to travel to Las Vegas and support his former teammate Henry Ruggs at his sentencing. Ruggs was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for his actions that ultimately resulted in the killing of a young woman and her dog as he was traveling in his car in excess of 150 miles an hour. What do you make of Devontae Smith going to support his teammate, and then we'll get to Ruggs?
What I hate about that is I looked at a lot of comments. You know, when you seen that picture, I saw it, and a lot of people like, this is a dumb move. Like this, it was a bad look for him. He shouldn't win. He's supporting a murderer, and just a bunch of other comments that people can make. Look, at the end of the day, these guys were brothers at the University of Alabama. These guys are teammates. These guys are friends. These guys will be brothers forever. Like, I would never want to be any of you guys' brothers or friends when you can't support me when I'm at my lowest. That's what you do when you're in family. That's what you do when you're brother. You support them. You be there for them. Because if nobody's there, then what does that say to him? Like, he's like, damn, you know what? Then what am I living for? What am I going on for? But when you have support, you're like, oh, I'm going to do these 3 to 10 years. I'm going to become out a better man. It's good that he had a brother like that, and it's good Nick Saban instilled that type of camaraderie out of his players because he needed that friend that day. I'm glad he was there.
I'm glad I didn't see those comments because, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I didn't look at the comments in that story. Because
I shouldn't have looked. You just know what it
right.
is.
Yeah, if it's on social media, you know what the comments are. I saw this story and I just I just couldn't be like I was like, wow, that is so awesome. Yeah. Good for him. Good for the Eagles. Yeah, for 100%. You know what I mean, for excusing because
and good for the Eagles too. I apologize. I didn't even talk about that part. Good for them for understanding and being there and supporting them too.
Right.
Like, when you got a coach that's willing to go that mile for you, man. I remember when Sean Taylor died of the Redskins. Now the Commanders. Kellen Winslow. And Lance Liggett, a wide receiver that we had, they both played at the U, and they left. Romeo let them leave, so I thought that was cool at the time.
You talk about Henry Ruggs now. He did get 3 to 10 years for a fatal DUI. And O.J. Simpson has chimed in.
That's a great
O.J. Simpson, here's the quote for him. The math doesn't add up. I know I went to college on a football scholarship, but somehow the math is not adding up to me. You're driving a car roughly 160 miles an hour on a public street, and you end up killing a girl and her dog, and you get 3 to 10 years? I think OJ might want to sit this one out.
Yeah, the math doesn't add up to me either, OJ. Like, you were the one black guy that got, like, the justice system benefited, and then you go out and do what we know you did. Like, just shut up. Like, just shut up. Like what is OJ comments? OJ has always done a good job of being in the media, whether it's movies, commercials, whatever. Whether it was, oh, you guys aren't talking about me, then he started making those random rap videos in Miami. OJ has always been a nuts character. That's why Jim Brown told me a long time, stay away from OJ.
Stay away from OJ.
Jim Brown told me, that's one of the first things Jim Brown said when I brought up OJ's name. He said, stay away from OJ's big-headed ass. That's what he told me.
Bigoted?
Big-headed ass.
Oh.
No, he's on big-headed.
Oh.
I was like, Jim, you want to talk. You got a big-ass head, too. You know me. I talk stuff to anybody. But, yeah, man, OJ, shut up. Like, really, like, all the stuff you've done, been a part of.
Detroit Dabber 313 in the chat says OJ just trying to make headlines. It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does feel like he's trying to troll and just get it back in the news a little bit.
OJ is OJ. He'll always be in news, but he's absolutely right. He's trying to stay in the news. OJ wrote a book called "I Didn't Do It, But If I Did, This Is How I Would Have Done It."
If I did it. The title was "I Did It," and in the little top of the I, it had the 2 letters "if."
So the crazy thing is, like, I never like listening and following OJ, but somebody told me to follow him on Twitter. He is a funny follow, but in a bad sense.
Yeah.
He was in California. He was like, man, still out here looking for the killers. I'm like, OJ, like, somebody take his phone.
You shouldn't even laugh at it.
Like,
I don't even know why I'm laughing at it.
Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good call, JB.
Thank you.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
it.
OJ needs to stop.
Lil Wayne.
From OJ to Lil Wayne?
Richard Sherman.
This show's off the rails.
And Rachel Nichols, formerly of ESPN.
You say Jimmy Butler?
will battle it out with Skip Bayless. So, hey, I'll tell you, kudos to Shannon Sharp. Because it basically took 3 people to replace Shannon Sharp on that show. I don't know what Shannon Sharp is going to do, but it took 3 people essentially to replace Shannon Sharp. I think this is a good move to keep a rotating, fresh cast.
Yeah.
Whether you think of Richard Sherman or Rachel Nichols or Lil Wayne or whatever, I think it's a good move to at least rotate the cast.
Yeah, I think it's a good move to rotate the cab, but just keep it different. Like, keep it fresh and keep it different. Look, Shannon was one of those guys, look, they struck lightning out of the bottle because replacing Skip from Stephen A. Smith, you're like, they'll never find a guy. They got Shannon. It was Lil Rocky in the beginning, but it worked. And to your point, to his credit, how hard he worked on that show. But you're not going to find a guy like this in this day and age, so you got to cover different facets, like different trends, different things. And I think by having Rachel Nichols, you get basketball, Richard Sherman, you get football, and then Lil Wayne, you get whatever he's on that day.
That's what you get.
That's my guy, though, man.
Guys, cap or no cap coming up next. We'll have some fun. Plus, Donovan Edwards has some things to say. Lofty goals for himself. Can he attain them? Will he attain them? Also, we'll get you to the Tigers final when it comes final. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. I got mine today. My girl Becca here at the Lady Jane's at 15 in Woodward in Birmingham hooked me up. Automatically entered for a chance to win not one but two vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars. One for you, your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, your mom, your dad, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's. It's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas. And buy your Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best versions of themselves. That website again, drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Awesome stuff, Parker, there. Absolutely. Hey, before we get to cap or no cap, I do want to mention that the Jets have canceled their joint practice with the Carolina Panthers. And there's some severe weather on the East Coast. Nice graphic there made by you, Parker, with the Panther in the cloud. Very good stuff. Yeah, severe weather on the East Coast, and obviously what's going on in Hawaii, Bray. I mean, just unbelievable. Just devastation.
You got to catch me up on that, brother.
So wildfires have wiped out large parts of Honolulu, Maui, and just terrible devastation.
Maui's like the best island.
Yeah, and then on the East Coast here, so we're seeing this crazy weather all over the place, severe, dangerous weather. So just want to let you know about the Jets and the Panthers. Should not impact the game on Friday or Saturday, whatever they play.
They didn't want to put that bad footage out there on Hard Knocks.
Absolutely. Braylon Edwards, it is time now for cap or no cap. We getting the fellas involved too?
We're going to get the fellas involved in this one, man. Cap or no cap, we're going to have some fun with this one. I came up with some while I was doing the show and also a couple before the show. I heard something interesting yesterday. I heard someone say that Michigan State is an 8-win football team.
8 wins.
On average, and I thought that was preposterous. So I'm going to start you off with a Michigan State question.
Okay. Michigan
State will win more than 6 games. Cap or no cap?
Cap. Cap.
It's a big cap.
I mean, it's to win more than 6 games. That means they have to win 7 games. Technically, you said more than.
Yes,
that means
they have to win 7.
There is no way Michigan State is winning 7 games.
No way.
No way.
All right, JB, what you on?
That's cap. They will win exactly 6 games, and that is it. And make it to a bowl game somehow, some way.
And make it to a bowl game.
Motor City Bowl.
Okay, I see you in there. Parker, what you got for this one, man?
Man, it's cap. I don't. They're not a. It's not a good football team at all. So
I'm gonna walk you through it, man. We got Central Michigan.
Loss.
We got Richmond.
Win.
We have Washington.
Loss.
Maryland.
Loss.
Iowa.
Loss.
Rutgers.
Win.
UM.
Loss.
The other UM.
Win.
I'm going Minnesota to beat them.
I am too.
I'm taking
6.
Minnesota.
Okay.
Nebraska.
Loss.
Ohio State.
Loss.
Indiana.
Win.
Penn State.
Loss. I got 9 losses.
Yeah, I counted. I counted nothing. I was just listening, so I wanted to give it a try on the radio and be on the show and see what we got. Next one. So that is cap for me. Cade Cunningham will be an NBA All-Star this year.
That's no cap.
You like that
That's
one?
no cap.
You like that
That
one?
is no cap.
Cade Cunningham getting a lot of love out of the Team USA Select team, which obviously we know is going to be the team that doesn't play but challenges the starters. And it's all they're talking about is Cade Cunningham. Talking about his leadership, talking about how he's been on both ends of the court, and talking about his strength. A lot stronger than he was at Oklahoma State in the last 2 seasons. JB, what are you thinking, man?
Oh, it's no cap. Absolutely. I mean, he turned down the offer to play for the U.S. Olympic team, and he's taking his time right now to focus on himself and better the Detroit Pistons, which I honestly think that this season you will definitely see a turnaround. So he will definitely make it to that All-Star game.
No cap.
Parker and myself, I believe we're both going to say no cap on that one as well.
No cap.
So did Paul Thomas, Alex Haggerty, and Piston Fan 11 in the chat.
I agree with all of them. 100%.
He's ready.
I think so. I definitely think so. Here's another one. Let's get all the Detroit
Come
sports
on.
in here. Miggy is the best right-handed hitter ever.
That's no cap. It is absolutely the case. Miguel Cabrera, statistic you cannot take away his talent and his statistics, and one of the more imposing figures. His lack of postseason success here in Detroit from that 08 to 14 time period. Yeah, I mean, that kind of diminishes it for me, but I will not take away from his greatness. Yes, that is no cap.
Parker, I'm opening it up to you second, man. What do you think? Is that cap or no cap?
Man, that is no cap. I mean, Miggy is just one of the best Tigers easily of all time. I mean, not just right-handed. I mean, this is a dude that's won many MVPs, Triple Crown once, or it was once. But yeah, Miggy easily no cap.
By the way, Braylon Edwards, speaking of the Tigers, the game downtown has just gone final. The Detroit Tigers win 3 of 4 from the first place Twins. They win 3-0 today. Reese Olson gets the win for Detroit. So the Tigers take 3 of 4. They are now 6 games in the loss column behind Minnesota. They play them twice more next week. Anything can happen. I'm not burying this team just yet.
Hey, man, when Maz asked the question, I said the answer was going to be 0.
Not burying this team just yet.
JB, you, Miggy, did I ask you? Did I ask you, Ryan?
Yep.
And you said yes, JB?
Oh, no cap at all.
No cap.
I mean, of course, it hasn't shown a lot this season for Miggy, but you can't take away what he's done in the past. So, no cap.
I don't think it's cap at all. I think if anything, it's a two-way tie between he and Pujols. But I don't have a problem. Like Miggy's 1, or Pujols is 2, or Pujols is 2, and Miggy is 1. So I'm kind of with the answer. Pujols and Miggy together for me in a split. All right, here we go. Next one. Cam Sutton.
Okay.
Will lead the Detroit Lions in interceptions this season. Cap or no cap?
I'm going to go cap. I'm going to go Kirby Joseph.
Kirby Joseph.
Yep. Kirby Joseph can lead the Lions in interceptions. That is a ball-hawking safety.
This is true. 3 interceptions in the tune of 8 games. You might be on to something, Ryan Ermanni. JB, you're shaking your head like you're agreeing with Ryan Ermanni.
I am agreeing with Ryan Ermanni here. He took my guy as well, too. Kirby Joseph will be the top dog for the Lions in interceptions.
Top dog.
You fighting a lionized son of a gun. Parker, what you got for me? Kirby Joseph or Cam Sutton or somebody else?
It's It's Cap. I don't think it's going to be Cam Sutton.
Okay.
However, I think we're overlooking a guy that was leading the league in interceptions last year in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
That's it.
So
I was going to say him next.
I think he's going to be the one that leads the Lions. I think he's going to be a top 5 leader in the league with interceptions next year.
I love it.
I love it too.
That's a good take.
But I say,
or as Tom Masway says, good opinion.
No cap. I think this is no cap. The guy that you're going to see on the guy that you're going to be seeing the ball thrown at the most, and it's going to be on the field the most, will be Cam Sutton. So I think by process of elimination, I think he does. But he's also a ball. I think he will get a lot of passes thrown his way, and I think he's going to make him pay for doing so. So I think due to reps and volume, he might have a chance of leading the league in picks.
Amen. Love it.
All right, what we got next? Donovan Edwards.
Oh, and yes, let's do this one.
And then lead into that.
And then lead into that one.
So Donovan Edwards said something very interesting. He said he believes when it's all said and done that he will be he'll be the best running back of all time, including Herschel Walker and Barry Sanders. Did he say Barry Sanders? He said Herschel Walker, right? He said Herschel Walker and Barry Sanders. Exactly. This is exactly what this young man said. Now, I caution you. He has never led Michigan in rushing, but he's going to be the best coming out of his mouth. Ryan Ermanni, I ask you, is this, well, you can't say cap or no cap, because this is, so I'll find a different way to word this. With Donovan Edwards.
Love it or hate it?
No. We can do that one too, because I love it.
I love it.
I love it. Is Donovan Edwards going to lead Michigan in rushing this year?
That's a great question.
Cap or no cap? Donovan Edwards will lead Michigan in rushing this year.
That's a damn good question, Braylon
That keeps
Edwards.
us out of trouble too.
In rushing?
Yeah.
No. He will not lead Michigan in rushing, but he will lead Michigan in total yards. How about that?
Okay.
Is that fair?
That is fair.
That gets me out of trouble.
Cap, no cap.
I kind of like Ryan's answer on that one. It gets you out of
stop
trouble. It gets you out of trouble. Like
these guys. Cap, no cap. Parker.
So my reason's different from them. I believe the leader of the Wolverines will be Blake Corum in total yards and rushing. I think he just has the edge over Donovan Edwards. I mean, yes, last year he ended the season kind of halfway through being injured, but I think it's Cap. I think Blake Corum's going to be the guy this year.
Great stuff. All right, Bray, what do you say?
I say to that, what's his last name?
Edwards.
No cap.
No cap.
And the reason why I ultimately say no cap is because he's faster than Blake Corum. He doesn't need as many touches as Blake Corum will need.
That.
Blake will have more touches than him. I think, I know Donovan Edwards will have more yards. He'll have a bigger yards per carry, and I think he edges him out to the tune of maybe 1,450 to 1,400. I think he'll have more.
If you've got a thought on Donovan Edwards, we can continue that on. I do want to mention the Tigers when we come back, and something happened in Philadelphia last night that just made me want to weep. We'll get that going as well. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Big Boy, yes, Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic breakfast items like the strawberry hot cakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. But if you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with a refreshing summer splash salad. But don't leave Big Boy without grabbing some dessert, because they've got the very delicious classic strawberry pie, the deep-fried vanilla Oreos, and of course, the strawberry hot fudge cakes, and so much more at your local Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren, I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
No cap. No cap.
You're right. Absolutely, you're right.
Hey, you know what also is no cap? That Outdoor Equipment Center is your home for outdoor power equipment.
Man,
playtime may be over, or your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company carries the top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. They service the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com. Your power equipment playground. Braylon Edwards, you are one funny freaking guy.
Hey, Brian, people they gonna be like this. You can't see my. You can't see my sheet.
I wish we could tell you what we were talking about.
You can't see my sheet. Okay.
I wish we could tell you.
I'm like crying.
Oh, man, that is so funny.
Okay.
Oh God.
Right.
You know, Ice Cube's in.
Oh, 100%. Been in. Been in.
Oh, gosh. Hey, he's going to be here this weekend, actually, Ice Cube. He is performing at the M1 Concourse for Roadkill Nights. Big event they got going on this weekend. Yeah, at the M1 Concourse in Pontiac. It's a big car show.
Like, Ice Cube is one of those individuals, and I love hip hop. Grew up in that era. Like you and I grew up in the same era. Blah. Like he's like one of those individuals that's he's A+++ lister, but he don't move me to go see a concert. Like if he's performing at something they're all are at, and I go to see like a West Coast show and it happens to be him with the West Side Connection and maybe he's doing something with Dr. Dre and NWA, I'm all in.
Right.
But he's not a guy that can pull me out of my house to go see him perform.
Well, it's almost like you lump those guys in as one. And they got so many different collabs with each other that it's like hard to.
I would go see Snoop by himself.
Well, I did.
Exactly. Like I said, I go see him by himself.
But even him, he's with Wiz Khalifa. He's with Warren G. I mean,
it's a lot of smoking and like chilling and vibing.
Too Short. You got all these guys. So pretty good stuff. Hey, I do want to mention the Detroit Tigers guys. They win 3 of 4. We have been pointing to this series with the Minnesota Twins in August, long before the trade deadline. Is there any life? They're now 6. They're 7 games back technically, but 6 games back in the loss column, and that's really the only one that you look at is the loss column. Six games back in the loss column, and they have 2 more against the Twins next week. Braylon Edwards, is this team dead, or are they on life support? Do they have any hope whatsoever?
They're on life support, but they have hope. I mean, this has been a bad division all year, and the Tigers have won some games we didn't believe they were going to win. The Tigers have made some plays that we didn't think they were going to make. But they're not dead. And at the end of the day, even if they don't make it, Ryan, I think the team, I think the fans, I think we're excited to see their strong finish because I think once again, here we are again, excited to see what Sky Harris can do in this offseason and get ready for next year. But I think we're excited that they're giving chase, that they're trying, that they're not just, mailing it in. They're still trying, so you know what I'm here for.
They got 10, their final, it's going to be terribly tough, but they play the Yankees, the Angels, the Dodgers, the Red Sox next, I believe. But their last, if they can just kind of hang around to like 4 games, let's just say 4 games out with 10 to play even. Their last 10 games are against Oakland, Kansas City, and Cleveland. I mean, damn.
I mean, I'm just looking at right now. The Red Sox haven't been playing good baseball right now. The Twins, we're in it with the Twins right now. We've got a couple games on them, so they're not looking the best right now. Cleveland Guardians, they faltered. Our division sucks as a whole. Now, where it heats up for
I know.
is the Astros.
Yeah. Astros, Yankees.
Astros would be like, I want to see where we are on August 25th.
Let's just see. Let's just play it out. It's still
They got a lot of winnable
Right.
games. In the next 10 games, a lot of winnable games.
See where they are. Guys, last night in Philadelphia, Michael Lorenzen, who was just traded away last week, pitching in his first game at home as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies, no hitter. Here it is.
Pitch. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on, popped up, shallow center field. Rojas sprinting in, he's under it. He has space, makes the catch, and Michael Lorenzen has thrown the 14th no-hitter in Philadelphia Phillies history. He is being mobbed by his teammates as the Phillies shut out the Nationals 7-0.
That's his mom and his wife and his baby daughter. I got goosebumps looking at that. So you just, I mean, you're happy for him, but you're sick to your stomach because Scott Harris said last year that Michael Lorenzen was just scratching the surface on how good he could be as a starter. He is a free agent at the end of the year. If you want to sign him back, feel free. But we know how that goes. Once you let a guy walk, he's 99 times out of 100, he's gone.
Yeah, look, and at the end of the day, usually you know what type of and it's funny, you talk about the Detroit Lions. What did we get from Michael Lorenzen?
The second baseman from
right.
Ho Young Lee.
Ho Young Lee.
Appreciate that. It's just like Maz talked about. This is how you know the Detroit Lions season is turning around, because usually things like that happen with the Detroit Lions and you get nothing in return. Usually with the Detroit Tigers, this may have been a situation where you let him walk at the end of the year and then that no-hitter happens. At least you traded something for him. You made the honest assessment. You made the trade, and it happened. Hey, look, he's a good pitcher. You knew that this was going to happen at some point, but you got something for him in return. So you know what? Hey, it sucked. But it's great to see that he got in, and you know what? Now it validates him as an all-star this year.
No doubt, right?
It validates him as an all-star.
That's that is no doubt about that. I mean,
I'm happy for him, man.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
And the sheer joy from his mom and his daughter, or excuse me, his mom and his wife and the baby daughter holding the baby daughter. Oh my God. Just incredible. Good for the
He's
young
about
man.
To get paid.
Absolutely. He is about to get paid. That is right. That's why she was crying. She's like, yes, guys, we'll take a break. When we come back, Phil Mickelson in the news. One of the most incredible stories you will ever hear in regards to betting and Phil Mickelson.
And they go hand in hand.
Which I believe he is an absolute freaking legend. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. Your local security experts have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call him today. Call Jason. Say, hey, Jason.
Stay out.
Jason, stay out.
Stay out, Jason.
Stay out of here.
Out.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
This is crazy. I can't even I can believe it, but I can't believe it. So this is the story.
I got a good stat for you. Remind me before the show's over.
Go ahead. Tell me now.
You sure?
Because I got this in front of me.
Okay, yeah. I heard this stat. This is about the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
All right. Be glad that they aren't on the schedule. Now, I know you think we'll beat everybody, and we probably will. Do you know that the teams that face San Francisco, after they faced San Fran last year, did you see that stat?
It's a betting stat.
They're 0-16.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
They beat the living daylights out of you.
Man, like, that's
They break you inside.
Sometimes you can look at a stat and you can just say, oh, it's just a happenstance kind of stat, or it's just, like 1 in a million type stat. That stat is, they really do beat the hell out of you, from Nick Bosa to Trent Williams on the other side. Every facet of that game, they beat the hell out of you. That's a hell of a stat. 0-16 after playing.
Those are stats that bettors find.
Yeah.
That's
true.
I'm serious. And I said this last year. I believe every NFL head coach should have a gambler, a serious gambler, manage their clock. I'm serious. There is no human being out there that is more capable of managing an NFL game clock than a legitimate bettor, NFL bettor. And you can call me crazy. Maybe you're not betting. If you've ever bet in your life, serious bettor.
You start coming up with that. Like, you start making up things.
You know everything.
Well, this,
5 moves ahead. 6 moves ahead. You know everything. Speaking of betting.
Okay.
There is a new book out written by professional gambler Billy Walters. And if you know anything about gambling, Billy Walters is like the George Washington. I mean, Billy Walters is like, name the field.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Okay.
There was a 60 Minutes done on Billy Walters back in 2010-11, just on his system. The most successful sports gambler of all time, Billy Walters, wrote a book. It comes out.
How old is he now?
70, 80.
Okay.
80 years old, something like that. 70, 80 years old.
Gotcha.
Wrote a book saying that Phil Mickelson bet more than $1 billion, with a B, over the past 3 decades on football, basketball, and baseball, and even allegedly attempted to try to place a $400,000 wager on Team USA in the 2012 Ryder Cup, in which he was playing.
Damn.
He lost close to $100 million gambling and made 43 bets on Major League Baseball games in one day. Ladies and gentlemen,
the GOAT.
Legendary.
The GOAT.
Damn.
I've never heard. I've been around gambling my whole life. Books, sports books, Vegas, Detroit, internet, online, every aspect of gambling you could ever imagine. I have never heard of anything remotely close to this.
Yeah, no, this is great. And
legend.
People that bet, when you go up and down and bet and lose and win and lose and win and whatever, that still tracks into how much you've actually gambled. So when people hear he's gambled $1 billion, that doesn't make sense. It makes all the sense in the world. The thing that doesn't make sense to you guys is the fact that he's still walking, living, breathing, and still doing well with his money, because he's won a lot of those bets too. And then when you get to live to kick in $252 million, that helps.
Well, that's right. The headlines will be $1 billion. The headlines will be $100 million in losses. Dude's got the money.
He's got the juice.
Dude's got the money.
He got the money. He's got the juice.
Yeah, I mean, you can lose you can lose $150 million. You can lose $100 million, but if you got $500 million, I mean,
or if you got a chance to get that $100 million back, that's another thing. Like when you play like a guy like Phil Mickelson, or guys like Tiger's not a better, but let's just stick with Phil. When you have the opportunity to always get it back, and some guys continue to gamble. It's like, shoot, I may have lost this, but it's like, if I go out there to his next PGA Open and I go out there and I hit him for this, then I can get this back and just keep it going. That's a hell of a way. That's a hell of a way to play, though.
Yeah. Oh, just that. I mean, you get a nosebleed just thinking about some of the highs and lows, especially in those NBA games, man. You got Mavs -7. They're up by 30 in the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden it's like they're up 8 with 30 seconds to go.
Here it comes. Can you imagine?
Just in the corner sweating it out.
Just in the corner sweating. Mad sweat.
In the corner. Imagine being on Sunday at Augusta and you're playing your whole round knowing if you don't win this, you owe somebody $30 million. So now your whole round is different.
I think I could be totally just off base on this, but in an individual sport like golf or tennis or something,
it shouldn't be frowned upon.
Why can't you bet on yourself to win? Not saying bet on yourself, but if you bet on yourself to win,
you should be able to bet on anybody.
Well, you don't want to bet on yourself to lose because then you throw the match.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean?
I see.
But if you bet on yourself to win, what's the big deal?
I don't know.
You know,
this is what the one football player is trying. He was trying to ask the question. He said, "I bet on us to win, though."
Right. Remember the was it what's the Russell Crowe movie where he's the boxer? Cinderella Man. You know,
Renee Zellweger.
Doesn't he like bet on himself in the fight and wins the money?
Floyd Mayweather used to bet on himself in real life.
That's right.
Like he bet on himself in real life and would say it during the fight.
That's right.
But boxing is different.
Yeah,
boxing has a whole different set of rules.
Oh my god.
Boxing got 9 different commissioners.
Yeah.
It's 9 different commissioners.
No doubt. Oh my gosh, that is wild.
Yeah.
Gang, want to let you know that we will be out at Dispo tomorrow in Hazel Park.
Yeah.
So if you're out and about, want to see what it's all about, we've been at Dispo a lot lately. They're really good partners for us here at Woodward Sports. You want to check the place out, you want to see what it's about, we'll be there from 2 to 4. We invite everybody out there. Is everybody going to be out there tomorrow, JB?
No, just you guys
just
in the heavyweights.
Just us guys in the heavyweights.
Okay, nice.
Very good. So 2 to 4, 5 to 7. Come on out and see us at Dispo in Hazel Park tomorrow. Bray, you going to be watching some football tonight? I think you're going to 5 Iron tonight, aren't you?
We'll go to 5 Iron for a little bit, check in. You know, for the things we talk about on the show. I can't just come here and tell you go down to 5 Iron Golf, and I don't go myself. So I want to bring you good product, but also one that I support myself. So we'll go down there, check the lay of the land. I'm excited to play a couple different greens or different courses, if you will. That's what the simulators are good for. Also, just get downtown. Like I haven't been downtown in a second, so go down, hang out for a second, and come back before it's too late.
Should be pretty nice. I mean, the Tigers just come off not a sweep, but
3
of 4 and 3 of 4 at Comerica Park. They beat the Twins.
Good energy.
Lions football tomorrow at Ford Field. Lots to be excited about here when it comes to Detroit sports. Braylon Edwards, get us out of here, my friend.
You know what? I'm going to bestow that privilege on young Parker today. Young Parker,
jeez,
you get us out of here.
Baby.
Well,
yeah,
you can put him on the spot.
Hey, well, with the weekend, we got preseason football coming up this Friday. Thanks to everybody for having a great show. I mean, Tigers with a great win. Michael Lorenzen getting traded, getting a no-hitter. Kind of sad, but great day today. Excited to be at Hazel Park tomorrow. From Ermanni, Edwards, sadly Maz is not here, JB, and myself. This is Ermanni and Edwards with Maz.
Ooh.